Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am sharing some dump and go Instant Pot recipes. I've been getting lots of requests to show some Instant Pot recipes, so here they are. I really hope you guys enjoy. Before we get in, I do want to thank ButcherBox for sponsoring this video. So here I am just unboxing that and showing you what I received in my box this month. We've really been trying to keep more high quality meat in our freezer, and ButcherBox is a great source because they deliver high quality meat right to your doorstep. You get 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, the pork is raised crate-free, and the seafood is wild-caught. ButcherBox does source from farmers and fishermen who meet the highest standards for quality, so you choose from 5 different box options available. They have 4 curated boxes and then 1 custom box, so you can choose exactly what fits your family, and you can also choose how often you want to receive your box. The box their product ships in is curbside recyclable and made from recycled materials. You can see here the 5 box options to choose from. You will then choose your box size, and there are 2 options there that you can choose from. You can go with the classic, and if you have a larger family, they do have a big box as well. You will then select your cuts that you'd like to receive, and that is it. It is that simple. I really love ButcherBox for their values and their mission. They work with hundreds of farmers to raise the bar for the way animals are treated, while also believing that farmers should earn fair living wages. So if you'd like to get started with ButcherBox, feel free to check out the link in my description box, and new members will receive 2 pounds of grass-fed ground beef for the lifetime of their membership. Again, a big thank you to ButcherBox for sponsoring this video. The first recipe I'm going to be making is a homemade cheeseburger macaroni, kind of like a hamburger helper style of dish. My kids really enjoyed this one. So you will need a pound of ground beef, whatever kind of pasta that you would like. I'm just using elbow. I've got some off-brand Velveeta, some beef bouillon to make my broth with, and some minced garlic. So right now I've got my pressure cooker on the saute mode. I'm just going to brown up my ground beef real quick, and then we can put in all of the other ingredients. I'm going to add now about a teaspoon of minced garlic, a sprinkle of onion powder. I'm going to give that a stir and then add in my pasta. I've got about 1.5 cups along with 3 cups of beef broth. I'm adding a little pepper. I'm not going to add salt, and I'm really glad I didn't, because between the cheese that I used and the beef broth, there was plenty of salt. So just keep that in mind. So you just want to make sure that your pasta is covered by the broth. You're going to place your lid on, make sure the valve is sealed, and do manual for 4 minutes. While that's going, I am going to go ahead and slice up some Velveeta into cubes. I just did about half the block. I really don't recommend using any more than that because the Velveeta can get really overpowering. I let my pressure cooker do a natural release, and then I went in and added my Velveeta cubes, and then just placed the lid back on for about 5 minutes just to trap the heat so that my cheese would melt a little bit faster. I also wanted to tell you guys, because I forgot to mention this earlier, but if you want to try ButcherBox and you decide that it just doesn't work for you for any reason, you can cancel at any time, but I really think you guys would like them. All of the meat that we have received has been nothing short of the best quality, and the box will usually last us about a month, give or take. We are a family of 5, 2 of them being small kids, but I did want to let you guys know that in case you were hesitant for that reason, there's no penalty to cancel. So they are really flexible, and I think the price is reasonable for what they offer, and I 100% support their mission. Animal welfare is incredibly important, but so is the meat that we consume, and also remember that you can choose what goes in your box. This was delicious. My kids ate this all up in no time. I think we had maybe a cup of this left over. They really enjoyed it, so I will be making it again for sure. Next up, I'm gonna make my version of a beef stroganoff. I looked at a lot of recipes on this and I came up with my own simplified version. So here I have about a pound of beef stew meat. I've got 12 ounces of extra wide egg noodles, a can of cream of mushroom. I'm gonna use 1 packet of onion soup mix. This was really the key to cutting the corners. It adds so much flavor, and then my beef bouillon to make my broth. Of course, if you have broth, you could use that, but I didn't, so I'm just using what I have. I am gonna start by putting my meat into the bottom of my pressure cooker, 3 cups of beef broth, a can of cream of mushroom, and a packet of the soup mix. Not adding any salt or pepper because of the broth and the soup mix. I felt like there would probably be enough already, and there was, so I'm just going to place my lid on, sealing my valve and setting this on manual for 15 minutes. Once the 15 minutes is up, I just did a natural release and then I added in my egg noodles. So I'm just making sure that my meat was completely cooked. I had a really hard time believing that this was going to cook in 15 minutes, but it did. So you just want to make sure that your noodles are covered, and this will go back on manual for an additional 3 minutes. After 3 minutes and the natural release, I added about a cup of sour cream. You can also add a water and cornstarch slurry if you want it to be a little bit thicker. And I also want to add that I know that stroganoff calls for mushrooms, but I purposely left those out because I knew that my kids would turn their nose up as soon as they saw the mushrooms in there. So I just completely left those out. But like I said earlier, this was my simplified version of a beef stroganoff and it turned out really good. It was on the thinner side, so if you want it to be thicker, you can just add a cornstarch and water slurry. The next recipe I'm going to make is chicken spaghetti. I've actually made this one before on the stovetop and it is delicious. So all you need is 1 to 2 boneless skinless chicken breast, 8 ounces of cream cheese, 16 ounces of spaghetti pasta. I've got a can of cream of chicken and a can of diced tomatoes with green chilies. Again, chicken bouillon to make my broth, and some Colby Jack cheese. So first things first, I am breaking my spaghetti in half and laying it crisscross into the bottom of my cooker. I'm adding 4 cups of chicken broth and my 2 chicken breasts that I have cut into strips, and I'm just going to lay those around evenly on top of my noodles. I'm going to pour my tomatoes and cream of chicken on top. I'm going to place the lid on and set it to manual for 10 minutes. Again, I did a natural release. I'm taking my chicken out and I'm going to cube that up. But while I do that, I wanted to go ahead and add in my cream cheese and Colby Jack. So I ended up using about half the bag of Colby Jack, but if you want it to be a little bit cheesier, you can always add more. And I also took this time to add a little bit of salt and pepper. I'm placing my chicken back in and giving it a stir, and that will complete this recipe. I haven't had this stuff in forever, but it is so good. I forgot how good it is. It's also a really fun way to put a spin on traditional spaghetti. The last recipe I have to share with you today is this Chipotle chicken and rice. I do have a recipe link for this one I'm going to put in my description box so you can get all of the exact measurements on everything. So this one does call for a few more ingredients, but you'll need 1 to 2 boneless skinless chicken breast, a can of diced tomatoes with green chilies, 3 tablespoons of this canned adobo sauce along with 2 chipotle peppers. You'll need to dice up about a cup of bell peppers and just use whatever color that you want to use. I thought that the red and the yellow would be really pretty. You'll need a cup and a half of white rice, 2 tablespoons of taco seasoning, a cup and a half of chicken broth, a tablespoon of minced garlic, some cilantro. I used the whole thing, and a small onion that you're going to dice up. This recipe also calls for shredded cheese, but I ran out, so no cheese for me, but I'm sure it would have made this dish that much better. Of course, don't forget your salt and pepper, and it also calls for oregano. I did choose to leave that out. So I have cubed my chicken, and that is going to go into the cooker first along with my rice and chicken broth. You're then going to add all of the diced veggies, the taco seasoning and garlic, the can of tomatoes, adobo sauce and peppers. And you're not going to stir this, you're just going to put the lid on, make sure the valve is sealed, and I'm going to cook this on manual for 5 minutes. Again, I did a natural release. I'm going to remove those peppers that I put in, and at this time you would also add the shredded cheese and let that melt. So I just had mine with sour cream and fresh tomatoes on top. This recipe is a little bit more on the spicy side. It's not crazy spicy, but it does have a little kick to it. So heads up if you have kids or family who don't like spicy, but I thought it looked really good, so I wanted to give it a try. But thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you're still watching right now, I'd love it if you went down to the comments and left a butterfly emoji to let me know. As always, I appreciate you guys. Another big thanks to ButcherBox for partnering with me on this video. I think you guys would really like ButcherBox, plus it's one less thing to have to pick up at the grocery store. It gets shipped straight to your door every month, so it's really convenient. And as I mentioned earlier, you do have the option to change your delivery frequency and cancel at any time without penalty. And I also forgot to mention that it's free shipping. And remember that new members will receive 2 pounds of grass-fed ground beef for the lifetime of their membership. The link is down below in my description box. I hope you all have an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.